Oh, the White House pastry chef has had enough. He has said that he won't demonize. You want to talk about an out-of-control country. I refuse to demonize sugar, butter, and eggs anymore.
And cream.
Yeah. I refuse to demonize eggs, sugar, cream, and butter.
I love that. I love that.
That is the most insane statement I've ever heard. I refuse to demonize these things, implying you have been demonizing them because somebody has been making you demonize them. Here is an openly gay pastry chef, one of the best pastry chefs, and believe me,
in the world.
Look at me. I know my pastry chefs. One of the best pastry chefs in the world. We have been honored to have his service at the White House for, these state dinners and everything else. He's the guy who, when somebody important sits down, they always say, wow.
And that's because he's, they've got one of his sculptures behind you on that. I mean, look at that. He's not just a chef, he's an artist. Seriously, that's food art. That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, no, he's really one of the most remarkable pastry chefs in the world, and one of the most remarkable artists in the world. So we've had him now at the White House for a while. And
2007.
Yeah, and he was hired by Laura Bush. Now I want to remind you that if anybody is anti-gay, it is the people on the right. It's those crazy Republicans, conservatives, people from Texas. They just hate gays, right? Except this guy is openly gay and hired by the Bushes and driven out by the Obamas. To the point to where, this is one of the most extraordinary statements I have ever read on two levels. One, I didn't ever think I would live in a country where someone would say about a political figure, especially the president, I just refuse to be a part of this anymore. I will not demonize eggs, butter, cream, sugar. I will not demonize it anymore. So he leaves. He actually, usually when things like this happen, think about how bad things are. Usually when things like this happen, you don't stick a finger in the eye of the President of the United States. You just don't do that. You've served, and it was a privilege to serve at the White House, and that's what you say. Because usually it is. It's been a privilege to serve in the White House.
And that's all you say.
And that's all you say. This guy comes out, and he is so passionate about it, about what's happening, that he feels it's necessary to come out and say, you know what, I'm not going to be a party to this any longer. This is insanity. Think of that.
I don't know, looking at, his actual comments,
I refuse to demonize.
He said, I don't want, here's an exact quote from Yossis. I don't want to demonize cream, butter, sugar, and eggs.
Right.
Right.
He also says, however, that he made it it's like he's sort of hedging that. He's saying he wants to go and teach kids about eating better.
Yes, but part of his decision was made because he didn't want to demonize
What's better place to teach kids about eating healthy than right next to Michelle Obama, who wants to teach kids about eating healthy? Yeah. He's saying she's nuts.
He was part of that program, too.
It goes to your point, right? I mean, I think there is an element there. If he doesn't want to demonize all these unbelievably tasty foods, he's also trying maybe a little bit to not stick the finger in the eye of
he is trying not to.
But he has, because what you say is, if you believed,
like that.
If you really believed that she was on the right track at all, you would stay there. If you decided you wanted to leave, you would say, the First Lady has made such an impact, and I think I can make a greater impact or a secondary impact by joining her fight outside of the White House.
Exactly right.
That's what you say.
You don't say.
What he's saying is
any longer demonize cream.
Yeah, and I'm going to go out.
Sugar.
I'm going to go out and I'm going to teach kids, because what he's saying with that statement is, she's nuts. What she's saying to do, she's nuts.
He is saying that.
He definitely hedges it, though. I mean,
yes, I know that. He didn't actually say she's nuts. But by saying that, again, put this into perspective.
Nobody does this when they leave the White House.
When I went to the White House, I spent some time with, what was his name? He was the chief butler for the White House, all the way from Kennedy to the last president, and he retired under George W. Bush. And I spent about an hour talking to this guy. Were you guys with me on that?
No.
Spent about an hour.
Is it the guy from the movie The Butler?
No.
A different butler.
And so
how many butlers did they have?
A lot.
Wow.
He's the chief butler. He's the guy in charge of everything, of everything in the White House. So every first lady has worked with him, and every president has worked with him. He runs the White House. When I talk to him, now this is all off the record. When I talk to this guy, he would not say a bad word about anyone. He would go silent, but he would say, I asked him about Hillary Clinton, and he said, it's always an honor to work with the president and the first lady. It is always an honor. Okay. All right, I think I hear what you're saying. Okay, but there was nothing, I don't know what he felt about that. I have no idea. He may have just not had anything to say, or I don't know. He never, ever, and that's the way somebody who serves in the White House in that capacity is. I am fortunate enough to work with people who were, they're all retired military. All the guys who protect me are all retired military. And they work for Gavin DeBecker and Associates. And this is probably the closest thing to Secret Service outside of a government organization. They are fantastic and protect some of the leading people in the world.
They protect even real celebrities.
Yes, they do. Yes. Yes, they do. But I will tell you that they are not allowed to say who they worked for or anything else. But I could tell you right now, because I know them, and if I asked them about so and so or whatever, they would say it was an honor just to serve them. I just know them. That's the way you behave in a role like that. This guy, I've never seen anyone leave the White House in this capacity saying anything like this. Mm-hmm. I refuse. I've never heard anybody say those words before.
Unless, like in Robert Gates' case, they're writing a book and they want to make money.
No, but that's a political. This is right. A service role.
True.
This is a service role, and it is an honor to be able to. Can you imagine the honor to make the food for the White House? Make the pastries for the White House. What an honor. So these guys
dinners and all that stuff.
Yeah, and these guys can make a lot more money elsewhere. They do that because it's an honor to be able to do it. And so that's the way they always behave. For him to come out tells me this guy is pissed off.
I believe that too. I think that's a strong statement when you leave the White House to make, because you don't have to say anything.
Yeah. And
you don't have to say anything.
Look at what the First Lady, I love the way this was printed in, I think, the Washington Post. The First Lady responded, and it is so clearly not the First Lady. First of all, the First Lady did not say. I could imagine what the First Lady said. What? Would you like me to imagine that out loud?
Yeah, yes, I would.
I think we can all imagine.
Hang on, we need a tiebreaker.
What do you think she said?
We need no, Jeffy's saying no.
No, we have to hear it. Oh my gosh, dude, what are you crazy? Out of your mind?
I think we can all imagine what the First Lady might have said. But
here's what she officially said.
Yeah, now listen to this. This is no way the First Lady said this.
I am also so grateful for him and his outstanding work, not just as the White House pastry chef, producing the most delectable creations for everything from delectable from birthday celebrations to state visits, but also as a key partner in helping us get the White House kitchen garden off the ground and building it a healthier future for our next generations. I wish Bill and his husband, Charlie, all the best in their future endeavors.
Okay, so now listen to this. Here's what she says. She says, and he was instrumental in getting the White House more healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Was he now? Because he just said, I refuse to demonize eggs and cream and sugar anymore. That's incredible.
It's
just
a great
incredible.
Story. It's a tasty story.
Yeah, it is. And, you know, he reminds me of my father. My father taught me one time, because I remember I was really young. And I learned a lot about advertising from my father, because, you know, it was the butter top bread. We cut down the bread and pour butter in the middle. And I grew up in a bakery. I brushed it on the bread every day. And I said, Dad, that's butter top bread. That is so good. He looked at me and he said, what the hell is wrong with you? And I said, what do you mean? I think we should do that. And he said, you brush the butter on the bread every day.
Yeah, but did you split the top and let the butter bake right in?
No, I just took a brush and we didn't pour it on like that.
That's wrong. You got to split the top and let the butter bake right in.
I split the top and I would brush the butter on.
You did?
Yeah, I did. We split the top and we brushed the butter on. We just didn't pour it on and let the butter bake right in. He just looked at me like, you are dumb as a box of rocks. The other thing I remember was when it was like, you remember the commercials? Don't mess with Mother Nature. And it was about margarine, right? Imperial margarine.
Yeah.
And even Mother Nature can't taste the difference between butter and margarine.
Really?
Really? You know, it's like, this is tar paper, I think.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that was the ad, and it was, the whole thing was, it's more healthy, more healthy, more healthy, more healthy. And I said to my dad, I opened up one of our big refrigerators, which we just had a huge industrial, you know, like those Sub-Zero huge, one was just all butter. The other one was like all cream. And I looked at that like the first lady looks at that, and I went, because I had bought into all the advertising, and I said, Dad, butter is very bad for you. You can't tell the difference between butter and margarine. We should be using margarine. Dad, I'll never forget, my dad turned around. He used to have a towel on his apron, and he turned around. He took that towel out. I thought I was going to get a beating of my life, because he started cleaning his hands like, I'm going to have to hit you now. And he started cleaning his hands, and he said, son, let me tell you something. Always use butter, eggs, sugar, the real stuff. If it comes from God, it's probably okay to eat. Amen.
That's a good point.
Amen.
Yeah, good point.
Sponsor. Now, let me tell you exactly what the First Lady said. I'm just getting a death stare from Stu. I'm not even getting an entertaining smile. Just, you son. Here's our sponsor. It's simpletolose.com. I will no longer be a part of demonizing sugar, eggs, milk, and cream.
But choices have consequences.
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. I said.